talk now to Chris Carman, who's Professor of Politics at Glasgow University. Welcome to the programme, Chris. So, given what we can see from the pictures so far, is it now all over for Donald Trump's ambitions to run for president again?
I think it's probably a bit early to call Donald Trump over. We've seen him be rather resilient in his ability to overlook some potential failures and keep on going. So I suspect that that's what he's probably going to do. He, of course, teased that he was going to have some big announcement on the 15th of November, but we'll have to wait to see now what that announcement is going to be, since, as you've just been saying, the Republicans haven't fared quite as well as they were hoping. And it looks like they're going to start pointing the blame towards some of these Trump-endorsed Republican candidates as being part of the problem. Baldock from New Hampshire, for instance, running for the Senate, didn't do well. So I expect that there'll be some blame, but we'll have to see how it falls. The other thing, just to say on that quickly, is that obviously Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, who was just reelected, is clearly setting out his stall to consider running in 2024. So it could be quite interesting in the state of Florida if you have Donald Trump, famously Florida resident, running against the governor of Florida for the Republican nomination.
So the Republicans look to have done less well than expected, but the Democrats have done better, of course. What does this mean, do you think, for the party and for President Biden?
Well, a lot of it is going to hinge, as John was just saying, on what happens in the Senate and what happens in the House. We still don't know the House outcome. It'll probably be a few days until all of the absentee ballots are counted there, so we actually know what's happening. And it looks like it won't be until December that we really know what's happening in the U.S. Senate. So it will heavily depend on the outcome of the things that we don't know yet, the vote counting that has yet to be done. That said, it looks like the Republicans will take the House. If so, they will try to obstruct as much as possible. Republican leaders have, in the House, have already sent letters to the FBI and the Department of Justice saying that they are going to initiate investigations into those agencies. They've already said that they will suspend the hearings into the January 6th riots, and they will look to start investigating the president's son, Hunter Biden, for his business affairs. Beyond that, you've also had some prominent Republicans in the House saying that they would like to impeach President Biden, although when you press them on what grounds, they have yet to decide. They say that they'll come up with something.
So as you say, we still don't know what's going to happen in the House of Representatives, but if the Democrats do lose their majority, what does this mean for President Biden's key policies like climate change and public spending?
President Biden, his career came out of the Senate, and he was in the Senate back in the days when senators used to try to work together. They used to try to work across the aisle and come up with compromises. That's where his sort of natural position is, to try to find compromises with the other side. Now, the issue with that is, of course, the other side has to want to try to compromise with you. And if it's the case that the Republicans are going to sort of try to dig their heels in, as it were, and resist compromise, because they want to be able to say in the run-up to the 2024 election, they want to say, look, the Democrats haven't achieved anything, they haven't done anything, we need to throw them out and elect Republicans. So we can look for the Republicans to probably not be as open to the idea of compromise as they somewhat were over the last 2 years.
Professor Chris Carman from Glasgow University, good to talk to you. Thank you very much for joining us today.